Good morning. Well, US has seen a lot of rioting recently. What happened in Charlottesville is sad, and it is having serious implications. The question arises, what we call a civilized society, why should such things happen there? In a state where we say the intelligence reigns supreme, in a country which we call to be the citadel of democracy and human rights, why this should happen there? If you listen to mass media, you would find that the blame is being apportioned not evenly. The main issue was not the removal of statue of General Lee, the Confederate general who was defeated, and as a matter of fact about whom Lincoln said, I wish all my generals were like General Lee. A great soldier, a patriot in his own way. His statue was sought to be removed, as have been others memorabilia of Confederates removed. The process of rewriting history is very unfortunate. We have seen it in Pakistan, where the history books are being rewritten. We have seen it in India, where some attempts have been made to rewrite history, but the change of the names of the roads and the buildings and the removal of the statues like that of Queen Victoria and others has been witnessed. That shows petty-mindedness. One cannot forget history. History, simply because you remove the relics of the past, you do not whitewash what was done. So, these white supremacists organized a protest against the removal of the statue of General Lee. Now, on one side, we say that you have freedom of expression. And when somebody expresses an opinion that you do not like, then not only you start abusing them, choosing the choicest epithets, but also come in the way of their expressing their opinion. I fully agree that KKK or alternate right are wrong. Wrong in many ways, not in this protest. But so are the alt left. When the Black Lives Matter group says only Black Lives Matter and none else, why can't they say lives matter? Human life, whether it's black or brown or yellow or white, has the same value. But Black Lives Matter is a group which is, I'll call it alt-left, alternate left. On the other side, we have alternate right. Now, if we object to alternate right, why should we accept the alternate left? And now it has become commonplace that a person whom you don't like, you start calling him rightist, you start calling him supremacist. Okay, as I said, that's not commendable, that's bad. But if they are taking out a procession which the court authorized, do the leftists, the Afro-Americans right to impede it? They came with the machetes and with the chains. I saw myself. There was a guy with the chains and he was shouting and hurling. As a matter of fact, it was a full-fledged riot, and when a riot takes place, not one side is guilty, both sides are guilty. So it happened because one type of protesters could not stomach the protest of the other. If the march had been left unimpeded, the things would not have gone to the extent they have gone. I once again do not justify the action of the KKK or the white supremacists in using a car as a weapon. That's condemnable, and the person should be punished to the maximum. I fully agree. But I also cannot absolve the left from the burden of being partly to blame. Now comes the role of the media. When a wound takes place, when you are injured, you let the wound heal. Many times you will see the dressing is applied and then the air is, they tell you, don't touch it, don't remove the scab. When the scab forms, don't remove the scab because that delays the healing of the wound. But here, I look at CNN 24/7, they are talking about it as if this is the only thing in the world. Agreed, it was a tragedy, it was unfortunate, it was uncalled for. But if you keep on scratching the wound, if you keep on removing the scabs, would the wounds heal? No. Wound would heal when the calm and the peace descends. Wounds do not heal in a state of agitation. And CNN and the other media is not allowing the wounds to be healed. And the result would be that the passions would never cool down. The result would be that the animosity in these two groups will keep on increasing. The result would be that nobody would be able to build a bridge among the two communities. Is that desirable? Shouldn't media stop supplying oxygen to the fire that is already burning? It's unfortunate that to create their TRP or to increase their TRP, they indulge in actions which are inimical to peace, which are anti-human, which are detestable. They say that it takes two to make a quarrel. So then in case white supremacists are wrong, if the other party had just let them go by, not impeded them, they can have a counter protest. I have no problem. If they are protesting in X street, let them have a protest march on the Y street. And then they're blaming the police. Now, I always pity the police because police is damned if they do something and they are damned if they don't do something. So, these riots are there because alt-left is trying to gloss over the history, whitewash the history, and wants to remove all the relics of the history. It is being sustained because media doesn't allow it to rest and is feeding the fire every day. Not only feeding, but stoking the fires every day. And the politicians are no less to blame. Instead of letting the cool heads take over, they are consistently creating issues, or rather worsening the issues to the situation that they will become beyond any salvation. And that's not something good for the country. Now imagine that how can you erase history? I protest against the erasure of history, whether it's India or Pakistan or USA. It's a part of the growth of the country. Good or bad, it's there. And it has affected your psyche. by throwing away the statue of a person, you do not think that the history can be consigned. You may delete it, but it is still there. It has made you what you are as a nation, as a group, as a race. The statue is a symbol of larger issue, and that is preserving history against revisionism, political correctness, and free speech. Now let's come to the other part. What's the effect on Canada? You cannot deny that Canada would be immediately affected by whatever happens down south. As I am the habit of saying, if they develop pneumonia, we'll catch a bad cold. And that is what's going to happen. This issue is fast becoming Canada's problem from two angles. One is that the advent of Syrian refugees has been highlighted and they have been pampered. And that is creating a resentment among the whitenecks. Let's not deny it. And the whitenecks are quite capable, the rednecks, they are quite capable of creating the same situation as KKK and the white supremacists did in USA. By example, you are showing the way out to the white supremacists in Canada. That okay, if they can do it, why can't we do it? Second part, which affects Canada, is the large number of refugees that would come. The illegal surge of immigrants from the southern border is already there. Can you believe in 2015, the total number of refugees which came to Quebec were 2,920. And in 1 week, between August 1 and August 7, just in 1 week, 1,798 people crossed the border in Quebec. So it's almost 1 week has seen as many refugees as full 1 year. Prime Minister Trudeau said that Canada is capable of processing them. Yes, they are. Requisitioning the Montreal Stadium, building up tents, they'll do it. But would you be having the same response to these refugees which you have for the Syrian ones? These are the refugees from Haiti. These are the refugees who have been refused permission, and they're either they're afraid they'll be caught or they're illegal immigrants, and they'll come here. And then they might have connection with the organized crime, drugs, narcotics, prostitution, guns. We saw that according to the police, Canadian police, the frequency with which these illegal refugees are coming and carrying arms is alarming. 6 of them have already been punished. They have been caught with arms. And those arms are the arms prohibited. Not restricted, but prohibited. So, what do? They are Haitians. Now, when the Haitians come and they see that those people, the Syrians, have been given VIP treatment, and these people are being treated as dregs, would that not create resentment? And if that creates resentment, what would be the reaction on the society as a whole? It's an inadequate response, the government. Then there is the issue of the third country. You are actually, by accepting these refugees, you are going against an international agreement that you signed with USA. The agreement was that you cannot accept a refugee in case they have come to USA first, and if USA says no, then you have to say no. Same way, USA cannot accept a refugee who comes to Canada And if Canada says no, that's no. Now, there are thousands of Haitians who came to USA after 2010 earthquake. And Trump has very clearly stated he's not going to extend their stay. They must go back to Haiti. Those thousands of them will come to Canada. How do you face that influx? Then, those who come legally through the cross-border you're accepting. What about the thousands who are coming through open border, not through the cross-border, without checking out? So, and the criminals? What's the security risk? Thirdly, today, the negotiations on NAFTA are starting in USA. If some diehard in US Trade Department thinks that what Canada is doing is against the interest of US, do you think NAFTA would be successful? I gave a glossary of NAFTA terms today in my article, which I've posted on LinkedIn and on my site. So these issues, the financial issue, we are already heading towards deficit of over 10 billion. The social issue, the reaction of the rednecks and the people of color. These issues, financial, social, cultural, and security, are the main concerns which are being created for Canada. They were there earlier, but Charlottesville riots have accentuated these problems, and this is a challenge for Trudeau. Now, nobody can say that racism is good. I'm all the time saying that racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, whether they are white supremacists or whether they are Black Lives That Matter. Any group that advocates hatred, advocates politically correctness, advocates discrimination, whether reverse or real, is guilty of the same crime. You have to be politically incorrect and say what's right. It takes two to take a quarrel, not one. And then it call upon the media to be sensible enough and to be sane enough to stop criticizing only the white supremacists. Let each party be held guilty. And let there be no discrimination in meting out the sentences and punishments. That's the only way of salvation. Thank you.